Ready, set, art. How to draw a diamond on colored paper with colored pencils. So the key thing with this is all in the blending and contrast. That is also key. There should be really bright areas and some very dark areas, some medium as well. But I would say that's the key. Often students, when they're first trying to do this, they do only medium colors, and contrast in general is something really hard for students to work on, but I want you to really try it on here. I do think working on colored paper makes it work. If you haven't bought colored paper yet, which was on the art supply list at the beginning of the semester, right, beginning of the school year, then you need to go get it. If there's a financial concern, you need to call the school and ask about the colored paper for your class, okay, because it is essential for this project. I know some students are going to ask me, can I just use white paper? The answer is no. Okay, you need to use the colored paper, all right? This is a warm-up to crystal drawing later, crystal drawing. And what I like about this assignment, especially for beginning students, is you're dealing with geometric shapes, which in general is really great for students to work with. And then they're kind of irregular geometric shapes when you think about it. Like this is kind of irregular, but that's how crystals are. And then you get to press really hard with your colored pencil. And students at this age, they tend to press really hard with the pencil. So it's an assignment that tends to work well, but there's just a few tricks here and there. All right, so to get started, this is a warm-up. You need to know how to actually draw a diamond shape. So I'm going to show that to you. All right, there's common mistakes that are made with that. I gotta move that to there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw like a hexagon, but it's flattened out. And you can see I'm sketchy, but that's okay. Guess what? You can erase on colored paper. It's true. You can erase. I'll show you. All right? You can erase colored pencil. No problem. So you can see I made a hexagon first. Okay. All right? Then, to create the next part, which is the sides here, it actually angles down differently than here. It doesn't go straight off. See, that would be going straight off right there. It angles down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle this down a little bit, a different angle than here. I'm going to try to follow that same angle that I did there. Okay. So again, if I had gone straight off, it would look like it would come off like that. Right? Let's take that off. And then this is about like this angle. Okay. If you notice one part accidentally went too long, then correct it. Artists make mistakes all the time. It's not a big deal. It just means we have to correct it. Okay, that looks better. All right, so now angle-wise, I'm going to try to match the angle I did here to here so that it's parallel, right? Parallel means the lines would never meet. If this kept going, they would never intersect. This one is straight because it matches this parallel. And then this is parallel to here. I'm going to go ahead and erase my access lines. Now, I'm going to come in at a point. And you can see I'm sketchy, and that's okay. So see that? Angle. So do those two first. Then the inside. All right? Common mistakes. Common mistakes is this one here. Watch. They get this one right. Great. But then I see this. And then they continue from here. They put a straight line there. Yuck. I don't like that. So they end up doing this. Then they put this in. And instead of the lines meeting at a point here, they bring it straight down. So that it looks like this. I don't know what happened here. I'm going to say, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. So now we have our basic diamond. Now I'm going to fill in one section because otherwise it would take too long for me to demo this, but I want to show you how I take medium colors, then light, and then dark colors, and then blend it all together. So one thing I like to do is to practice different colors to see which ones I like, because it depends. What if I was using this blue paper? How would yellow look good? look on this. Doesn't look great. Okay, so yellow kind of comes out funky. But what if I had done white first and then yellow? It's a little better. It's a little better, but how would maybe, and I'm using those Crazy Art pencils, right? And I mean, that's the actual brand. Would orange look better? Let's see. Orange actually looks a little better. So I recommend testing colors on the back of your paper to see which one. You don't have to use black paper for this project. You do have, when you get that colored pack, there's all sorts of colors. I do recommend a darker color. You don't want a light yellow. I know pink is pretty, right? But in general, you probably want a darker green, darker blue, darker purple, or black. Okay. All right, so in this case, I'm using these colors. All right, so like I said, I was using, here we go, let's get my colors out. I was practicing before, so I need to get these out. Oh, I must have been using that orange. Okay. And again, I needed the white. Could we use purple layer? We'll try. We'll see. And I always like to have an alternative color choice in there somewhere. You'll see why later. But let's practice with these colors. So we want to start with medium. Medium. So if you look at these, if we had to arrange it from light to dark, this is over here, this is here, that's probably there, and this is there. Okay, light to dark, okay, with an alternative color choice. Let's start with our mediums. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. I'm going to do this chunk here, and I'm going in a line formation, but later I'm going to blend it. I'm going to blend it because we don't want this look. This is sometimes what students turn in for the diamond piece, and I think, what happened? There's no blending. Okay, you have to start with your lines like this. Why? And look, don't fill it in completely because we're going to use other colors. The reason we're choosing this line texture is because of the way light hits glass or crystals or diamonds. It tends to have this streaky tone to it, almost like a rainbow effect. So that's ideally what we're doing. Okay, so you can see if I put that color, this green, it's kind of noticeable, but not too noticeable. All right, so that's good. I think I'm ready for a darker color. Let's see, I'm testing to the side. That's good. That's better. Okay, so in general, in order for the white to really stand out later, you need a good dark color right next to it to make it work. So I don't go over it. That's another common mistake. Students, when they go to blend, they do this all over it. I'm like, whoa, what happened? What happened to the white outline? I don't know. Okay, so when you do this, this is what happens. A lot of students, they'll just go around and do outline going around. Good start. You need to take some of the color in, right? So see how I kind of brought that up? And then look, I left those two black areas, right? So now I'm going to streak some down. I want to streak some down. I know I went over that part. Don't worry, I'll correct it. So I wanted some streaking. I wouldn't even want a big dark line going down. See? Streaking. So now I'm creating layers, and it's starting to blend out. It's starting to blend out. It's not standing out enough because it needs some lighter tones. Might need some lighter tones. Okay? So I'm going to go in with this orange just as a base. You can see that didn't work well. Sometimes that happens. Now I'm going in with the white. Oh no, look at that. Now it's really brightening up. So it's like we started with white and we kind of finished with white. Look at that. And look how I'm blending all over. Look at that. That looks good. Now sometimes when that happens, you have to go back with the darker color. Like I said, it happens. Go back. Look at that. I'm going to sharpen my pencil again because I want to finish that white outline. Look at that. Make it a stronger white outline. Whoops. That's okay. I can erase it, right? You can erase. You can erase. If you have to turn the paper, maybe that's what I need to do. Turn the paper. Look at that. That looks good. Common mistake, I'll show you right now, is so that has value range. Light, medium, dark. This is what I see sometimes. Fill, Yay! And then they go to the next one. Fill. This is what we call flat colors, because it's one flat color fitting the whole thing. And then I'll tell them, but you need highlights and shadows, so then they do this. Look, Mrs. Day, I did it. I added value. Well, you went and outlined it. That's great. You didn't show me the blending, those awesome streaks. Then they show me this. They put a white middle to it. So please know that when you're turning this in, if I see this, I'm going to say, please redo it. Please redo it. You will not get full credit if I see this. That is a no. If I see this, I'm going to say, go redo it. It has to look like this piece right here. It has to. That is the practice later for figuring out how to do these crystal drawings, right? So as a finished piece, and you could choose a dark colored paper that you want, doesn't have to be black, but when it finishes, it should look something like this, whereas some of it's lighter, some of it may be darker, but I should see a full value ring. You could see that as I finished the piece, once I had it in, I went and added an alternative color. And if you're thinking, why would you do that? Well, I'll tell you why, because a lot of times rainbows have more than one color. So when light hits the piece, it kind of fractures it a little bit, and it actually changes more than just blues. It might add a red tone in it, or a green tone, and that's what helps finish the piece. All right, thank you and good luck. If it doesn't look this as a warm-up, I'm sorry to tell you, I will ask you to redo it in order to get the full credit. Otherwise, you'll just get half credit. That way you'll have good practice for doing our crystals. Thank you and good luck.